Let's talk about a big subject, and that is the number one mark of a loser. Let's face it, we're all losers. Nobody can be a winner in every area of their life, every moment of every day, and everything we attempt to do. We all have our losing moments, and so many times, I'm going to do my best on this. I'll try, but I think it's going to go over everybody's head. Maybe somebody will get it. But see, this is how people get beat. See, this is, people work so hard, they get in the game, they go for it, their heart is pure, their intention is right, they give it everything they've got, and then they get beat. And like, what went wrong? I'll tell you what went wong. There's no mystery. But we want to make, gee, wow. Well, now, of course, it could be you didn't prepare enough and you just kidded yourself. But I'm talking about all other things being equal. When it comes down to the best beating the next best, and it's a fine line. How could you establish? What causes, the boxer to throw that last punch, the team to rise up and to score the last touchdown? Find a way to win. Why do some, these are what we call winners. You see it in these champions. Why do some find a way to win? In spite of everything that goes wrong. See, the losers say, well, we had all this other stuff go wrong. Yeah, so did the winner. But they overcame. So what causes them to bounce up? What is it you can't see? How can you put your finger on it? See, this is why teams lose. This is why coaches lose. They fall apart. I could get some examples of that, but I won't do it now. Try not to be too specific. But we'll do that later. Let's just get this issue on the table. But see, how do people, they get beat, and let's just say they don't know how. Again, the mystery again. How is that? Why is it? And see, this is something, let's just say, here's another way of looking at it. This is what most, if they ever learn it, everybody who learns it, almost everybody who learns it, almost everybody, have to learn the hard way. This one you have to learn the hard way. And you learn by getting beat and feeling the sting and going through the emotion. Because, see, until you get beat, you would never believe that could happen to you. But you know what it is? Here's the number one mark of a loser. Softness. They're not tough enough all the way to the end and hang in there in spite of everything that's going on, where they want it worse than the other person, and they stay in there, keep their focus, and they win. But see, people don't think they have softness. They think it's a fluke. They got a bad call from the ref. Somebody got an injury. Somebody made a lucky play. What were they supposed to do? You were soft. You let them do it. But see, people don't want to admit. We don't want to admit it. We don't want to take the blame. And we certainly never want to say we're soft. Let's look at how it goes. See, this solves or clears up so many mysteries like New Year resolutions. Why do people not do New Year's? Why don't get on that? Soft. They didn't really want it bad enough. So when it got to where they actually had to pay a price, it was a little inconvenient, they gave up. Why do you hear these phrases like, why do most people never hit their goals? They might get 50% of the way. They might get 60% of the way, but they never actually hit their goals. They never actually do what they wanted to do by the time frame. Why is that? Why do you hear the thing like aim at the stars and hit, what is it, hit the moon or something like that? Because you're not going to get there. Like, here's our goal up here. We're going to go for this. If we go for that, and that's what we want, this is supposed to be a graph, by the way. So if I aim, that's my goal, and I aim for that, or you're running a team, you're probably not going to get it, especially the first time. So what you want to do is aim higher. Aim up here. Aim for some kind of thing up here. So when you come up short, you still get what you wanted to, what you're originally wanting to anyway. And anything better than that is a bonus, right? So aim at the stars. That's why you hear those kind of phrases. See, it's so subtle. Because if you give up, just let go. People on the outside can't tell. From the outside looking at you, can't tell. He said, oh, they were working so hard. Oh, they were fighting so hard. Yeah, but there was a little bit of give up in there. A little bit of doubt got in. You hear this thing about whoever flinches first loses? See, that flinching is softness. That's where it comes in. Now, here's how you get around it. Well, let's just, another way. Why is it, let's look at, how do people usually win championships? The point is that I don't care how good you are. If you want to win something, you've got to get your technique. You've got to develop your technique. You got to do all the things, the normal things that people do. You got to get experience. Competitive experience. You got to do all these things. Get in shape, get the equipment. There's a whole list of all these things. And then you got to go for it. You play the game. But here's one thing that coaches, individuals, people learning to compete for the top, anything special in life, maybe you're just going for a job or promotion or a contest, something simple. You're going to have to develop the toughness it takes to win. I know nobody's going to understand this. Because, see, if you don't have the toughness, that determination, that thing where I'm not going to flinch, all of your skill, your conditioning, your experience, your preparation goes right out the window. You see, you're going to have to give 100% effort, 100% while the game, during the game, while the time period you got, while the clock is running, if you're going to beat the other guy. Now, if you come in here the last minute and you drop back and you go to 99.9%, you're going to get beat. Have you ever noticed at the Olympics, they'll run 26-something miles in a marathon and somebody will win by a couple of feet? Or they'll have these races, somebody win. The Kentucky Derby, they have a photo finish to tell who won. See, you cannot give up. You've got to have that toughness. Now, again, like I said before, maybe somebody's just better than you and they beat you and you work harder. But that's not why most people lose. Most people lose because they don't make they get talked out of it. They get psyched out of it. They get sidetracked in their mind. That's why they say so much of competition is mental. It's not the ability of everything. It's when you get in the game, it's mental because you got to keep yourself focused. You got to keep yourself focused on what you're going to do, not what your competition is going to do to you. You got to think about what you're going to do to win rather than the things that are going to come up to keep you from winning. So you're making that all that effort, that max effort right to the end. But that's why people, in the Super Bowl, you see people fade. You see people in all kind of World Series, in baseball. And we see, we see it in business with contests all the time. But that's why. See, the person who wins is usually someone who's had the softness, but they've developed. See, they never thought they'd ever be soft. They never thought they would cave in. They never thought they would flinch until they got in a situation where they did. Even Michael Jordan winning his championships, they got beat several years and knocked out of the playoffs by Detroit, the Detroit Pistons, and that developed Jordan's toughness. You see that in every sport. The new contender, the young team that are looking great during the regular season, you get in the playoffs, they get knocked out. Toughness. You got to develop it. But usually the person who's tough now was somebody who's tough, was soft last time. So do not quit. Do not make excuses. Face it. Say they were tougher than us. We didn't have to get beat, but they were tougher. We still had some softness. And we're going to come back ready next time, and we're going to be tougher. We're going to be better. See, you develop toughness. The mark of a loser is something we all start off with, and that is the softness. Because we've never really won before. We're not really convinced we can do it before. We want to believe it, but when it comes to we're facing fear right at the moment of truth, usually we flinch if it's our first time there. So hang in there. Develop that. Give yourself a chance to develop that toughness. Keep coming back. Time and time, relentless, until you develop enough toughness, the toughness it takes to not only be good enough to win, but to actually win. That's it. The mark of losers, softness. Mark of winners, toughness. But toughness, you develop. Hope that helps. Hope somebody understood it.